Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast, joined by my co-host Giles Edwards, as I often am, from Maine, I believe.
Yeah,
And
with an unstable internet connection, so if I go quiet, don't be offended.
okay, and by from Los Angeles by today's guests, Michael Reich and Mike Pinkney, who we've interviewed twice before about their movie She's Allergic to Cats. And we're taking this occasion to interview them again because She's Allergic to Cats has a pretty fantastic looking Blu-ray release that we'll talk about at the end of the program. How are you guys?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing good. It's good to see you. It's been a couple years.
It has been. We did a second interview. We did a first interview at Fantasia just when the movie first came out. Did a second interview during the COVID era
Yeah.
when you got on movie went to VOD for the first time, and then now Blu-ray finally. And there goes Giles. We look.
Um, Someone decided to mow their lawn, but so
So this week we had a surprising amount of movies to talk about, and there's that spread there of the movies that got released this week, mostly on Blu-ray and some very obscure ones. But we're going to run through these and then talk about the week's most fabulous and impressive release, the She's Allergic to Cats. Which tops last year at Marienbad only because last year at Marienbad's been released before. So this is a first release. So,
Yeah.
um, Giles, if you can quickly describe what's on screen, we'll discuss
yeah,
it.
sure. I'll do a quick description. Center, we have a portrait of a young individual. Looks like a feminine face in the middle that is almost photorealistic, but not quite, gazing off just over our right shoulder as the viewer, but sort of emerging from either side of her face there in a vaguely psychedelic, but also kind of calm wash of colors are two other portraits facing left and right of, I'm going to guess, two young gentlemen who I'm going to imagine are somehow affiliated with this center person. And their faces are this sort of tie-dye wash with pinks, purples, yellows, some cyan, swirly colors, and it all
Beautiful.
goes up and float.
Okay. And the movie's name is Petrol, and this is our only theatrical release of the week that we're highlighting. And it's a very limited theatrical release. I imagine it's only playing in New York City. We saw the trailer. Well, let me ask, did you guys watch the trailer and what was your impression of what we're looking at here with
I watched I think I watched the trailer. It's Australian, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I watched it.
So what did you
I want,
think it was? It's like obviously an art house movie, but
It looked cool. I got to see Alien Romulus first, though. I'm
oh,
excited to see that. And but after I don't know if it's playing here in Los Angeles, but after Alien Romulus, maybe I'll check it out.
so it was
yeah, look, yeah, it looked like a genre that praised a cartoon, mumblecore
Mumblecore, I like that.
instead of mumblecore because it started having a nice little jaunty soundtrack thing going on, and words like idealist and enigmatic and shadowy in the one sentence log line there. So yeah, it might be interesting.
yeah, the
Look
trailer doesn't
promising.
give away much about the plot, but I don't suspect there's really too much plot. I think it's about a uh, film student who's a Russian immigrant to Australia, which describes the director, so it's probably autobiographical in that sense. And she meets a female performance audience artist, and they form a friendship, and things start getting blurry between what's fantasy and what's reality. It'll probably show up on VOD in a couple of weeks, but it did get some praise from Richard Brody of the New Yorker, who said Its ambiguities and quizzical open-endedness are an open door to the cinematic future, which sounds pretty.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
Another director or another critic called it whimsical and unsettling. Another one said at the borders of fantasy, realism, abstraction, and play. Yeah, and from the trailer, it did get a sense that it was whimsical, but maybe with something a little disturbing also going on.
I like
Dark
some
whimsy thing, yeah.
disturbingness with my whimsy. If it's too whimsical, it's like Dr. Seuss. You need a little disturbance with your whimsy.
Ah, well,
Right.
if you want disturbing
Great.
Dr. Seuss, you can see 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T.
Is that about Dr. Seuss?
It's by Dr. Seuss, and it has some disturbing elements in it.
I never seen it.
Oh wow, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, check that out.
From the 50s, yeah.
Oh,
Look at 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. That's definitely a recommendation. Speaking of recommendations in the second movie, this one we've seen and talked about before, and I wrote it up, Giles, very quickly. The still here is.
It's a cozy group of heads resting together. Brunette resting her head on shoulder of man with mustache, and on his other shoulder is head of famous, I'm going to guess, German descendant actor. And they all look either comfortable or sad or both. And this is one of the two stills I've ever seen for this movie. So I know I've described this before.
Yes, and it is.
yeah. It's interesting to see a pre-Ozempic. What's that guy's name again?
Oh,
Todd. He plays Todd in
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse
And
Plemons.
also has a name as an actor, but yeah, he's Todd in Breaking Bad.
I heard that he did not take Ozempic.
I didn't know that.
I heard that it was intermittent fasting. So, but this movie looks like it took place before that.
So this is Kinds of Kindness, the Yorgos Lanthimos, a movie that I may be the only one who's seen.
I've seen it.
Oh, you have seen it. Oh, good.
I got a lot to say about it too.
Well, I've already written it up, so go ahead and talk about Kinds of Kindness give us your impressions of Kinds of Kindness.
I did not like it.
Ooh.
I love Yorgos too.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
I'm a big fan. I love the
Yeah.
lobster.
Lobster. It's great. I love lobsters in general, but that movie was a fantastic portrayal of lobsters. But this movie was boring. It was so long. And like an anthology movie, like I think those are usually pretty problematic to begin with, and they like
Yeah. I just like feels sometimes like segmented too much.
and then the first one was the best one, and then they just progressively got worse and more boring and it's like, God, like it just seemed like Yorgos was like, well, I could do anything. I just did poor things. So let me just get a bunch of my friends together and do some acting in New Orleans and hang out there and there's some cool moments in it, but man, I was really disappointed. I was falling asleep while watching it.
Oh my, unexpected hot take.
It was very, very, very hot.
But so wait, but you did, I'm gonna guess, at least like the dogs part.
Yeah, that part was okay. What happens with the dogs? Is there a dead dog? Oh yeah, is there a dead dog in it? Is that a spoiler?
There's probably dead dog.
Yeah.
There's a
In the credits for those who haven't seen it, the credits at the end of the second episode has some dog stills in it, and dogs also feature heavily in She's Allergic to Cats. So I thought that'd be a connection there.
I love a dog in a movie. But I feel like I just saw some good dog acting in a movie. I wonder what movie it was. I'll think about it later.
All right. So I recommend Kinds of Kindness, but the Michaels and Mikes say no, and Giles hasn't seen it. So,
Well,
I haven't seen it yet.
yeah.
So,
okay.
but
Well, maybe Mike would like it. So,
yeah, I like Yorgos a lot.
I don't think that he would like it. I don't think that you would like it.
No.
I don't know. That's just my take. Maybe.
Probably not.
Well, okay. Well, let's move on to the Blu-ray releases of the week. We're already into the Blu-rays, and that Kinds of Kindness just appeared on VOD, I should mention, and will be free to watch for anybody who has Hulu. So that's good. We have a pair of major Blu-rays, both black and whites, from
Wow.
Kino Classics. Giles, quickly, if you can, the first.
All right, left-hand movie. This is a Blu-ray, 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray cover, and man, they thought, is there any way we can make this far, far too busy? It is a complicated film. We've got massive hotel corridor thing leading to a view of a beautiful geometric garden in the foreground. We got some sculpture bust up. We got the back shot of a guy looking at these things for some reason, and we have a guy poking his head in from the right-hand side of the frame. And I guess maybe my resolution isn't too great. I'd have hoped there would be a young woman's. Oh, there she is. She's centered in the geometric garden in the distance. So the main character is about half an inch tall, I'm going to guess, on this Blu-ray cover. That's I highly recommend, and have had to purchase twice now, and I guess I'm on a third time. And once it's in Steelbook, I can buy it a fourth time. On the right-hand side, and now, if we want me to, or do we want to say what the title is here?
Say what the title is, and we'll discuss it.
This is Last Year at Marienbad, a film by Alain Resnais, my favorite new wave director, and he's not really quite new wave. He predates them a little bit, but this movie is absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
And I imagine I won't get arguments about that from Michael or Mike.
Let's see.
It's better than Kinds of Kindness. I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remembered liking it, but
Yeah, it has like, I remember it had sort of Lynchian sort of vibes to it. There's such a haunting kind of weird feeling about this movie that I remember loving.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched it since college, I think, but I just remember really, really being into this movie.
I remember our friend Nate Caswell really liked this movie. And he has good taste, so he also liked Hiroshima Mon Amour. Is that the same director?
Yeah.
Yep.
He liked that one a lot too, I remember. Nate's a good guy. I haven't seen him in years. He lives in Vermont now. That's by Maine.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I'll swing by Nate's on the way back tomorrow.
So for anybody who doesn't know the story of Last Year at Marienbad, there's really not a lot of plot. It's just about a man and a woman who meet at a resort, and the man insists that he knows the woman because they met last year at Marienbad, and the woman sort of denies that fact, at least most of the time, but it gets ambiguous, and it's a lot stranger than it sounds, really. It's a very, very weird movie, which is why it's a classic. Written by Alain Robbe-Grillet, who went on to become a director. He's a novelist who went on to become a director himself. Certainly the weirdest thing Alain Resnais ever did, I imagine, although he's got another one or two that are kind of strange. But it's on 4K Ultra UHD with a Blu-ray. Basically, I think this is just a upgrade of a Blu-ray that Kino had already released. And while we're on the topic, just wanted to ask you guys, I know most people don't. Do you have a 4K Ultra HD player?
I don't, but I just have a Blu-ray player. But yeah, I think I own this one on the original Kino release. But yeah, I have never gotten the upgrade.
What's Ultra HD?
Yeah, good question. It's a ploy to get you to trade in your old Blu-ray player for a new higher definition.
Oh, and not just that, to trade in your old television to get one that's capable as well.
Yeah, that's why I never did that, because I thought I had to have both components.
Yeah,
So,
you'd want to. There was about 15 years between my two TV upgrades. I had an old original generation plasma, which was very, very heavy and got very, very warm, but was, great in the day. And then once QLED dropped to a not too unreasonable price. I got that, which when I saw on the QLED, because I'd had a 4K Ultra HD while, then for the things
Oops.
and for this movie,
That's
for this, despite wanting the Criterion Blu-ray, which is not 4K Ultra HD, because there's a whole lot of grit and details going thing.
okay. You're cutting in and out there, Giles.
I like sometimes when they do the new upgrades, because like when Blu-ray became a thing, I wound up getting your whole DVD collection because he gave it to make space. So I assume if Ultra HD really catches on, I'll get all your Blu-rays.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to make the jump to 4K for everything. A lot of stuff never makes that jump, but it's interesting what titles they choose, to actually like, sometimes my fear is always that they almost make it like too clean and too digital when you lose some of the old grain. And sometimes I've seen some terrible Blu-ray transfers where it's almost like there's moments where you have like a hyper grain for a second because it can't adjust right. So it's almost finding the details in the wrong spot. Some early like Twilight Time Blu-ray releases I found that on. So it's like, I'm not always sure like what the process is for like cleaning and restoring.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of films that just aren't restored well enough to ever go on, or prints, good enough prints don't exist to put them on 4K UHD. We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago with Lee DeMar based. He was like, I don't know, if his old movies that were, I think shot in 16 millimeter would ever be able to be upgraded, so.
Yeah. Arrow's pretty honest about it because they'll upgrade a lot of things to 2K, which is sort of, admitting that we can only get this so good.
Yeah.
And so anything from Arrow, I'd count on them to be doing the right degree of upgrading because they seem to admit when something might be impossible. But yeah, I don't know about Kino.
Yeah, we have a couple coming up that will not be on 4K, I can assert pretty confidently. But before we do that, this one is on 4K. It's the other one, kind of a match set, two weird, surreal, this one less so, black and white movies from the 60s. And this one, Giles, please describe the cover.
We've got trench coat, fedora, gun holding detective looking dude, and over his shoulder is, I'm going to say, a femme fatale, but not blonde, brunette. And in the background, there's a kind of futuristic looking city that you would imagine the people in the 60s might think is a futuristic looking city. And above, in a kind of like a stylized neon lighting font, is the name of this Jean-Luc Godard science fiction outing,
which is Alphaville. So, have you guys seen Alphaville? A long time ago, probably.
Long time ago. And I remember I felt like I was sort of underwhelmed by the science fiction scope of it, but I thought it felt like more of a detective story. But I
guess speculative fiction might be a better.
What?
Speculative fiction might be a better descriptor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being disappointed. I was a big fan when I saw it of Godard. I feel like I don't like Godard as much as I used to. So I bet I would probably like this movie less now. But I remember just being like, hey, man, this isn't really sci-fi.
But yeah, I'd be willing to rewatch it too, just because I haven't thought about it too much in a long time.
I like Anna Karina. Did she just... No, wait, that was Francois Hardy. Is she still alive?
I think she might be. No, maybe, no, I don't think she is.
I don't know. Giles will look it up if he's not frozen. So for anyone who doesn't know, Alphaville, it's one of Jean-Luc Godard's very earliest movies, and what he did is he took a character that already existed, a detective called Lemmy Caution, who was played by Eddie Constantine in French movies and had been in about 7 movies, and just sort of transplanted him to a sci-fi setting for a dystopian movie that's probably pretty timely now because it's about a computer ruling the world with artificial intelligence.
Huh.
Wow.
Now I'm into it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'd like to check this out.
Anna Karina passed away 5 years ago,
Oh, okay.
5 years ago?
2019.
Yeah, very sad, but so
Oh,
anyway, this is the other big Kino release, Alphaville. And now we're getting into, we got three obscure movies coming up that are released for the first time on Blu-ray. This one, probably the closest in spirit to She's Allergic to Cats, also the most recent from about the same period. Giles, the simple still we're looking at.
We're looking at a man with no hair on the top of his head, probably shaved. We got some expressive eyebrows above forlorn expressed eyes. He's half in shadow, so we only see, well, his left-hand side of his nose, and his mouth is open. He might be saying something or just sighing with regret. But I suppose the most distinct thing, other than the fact that he's bald-headed, is there is a paint or marker drawn curly, we'll say hyper French stylized mustache on this guy's face as he looks over the viewer's left shoulder. And I'm gonna guess this is from Lost Prophet.
No. Close.
No?
This is from, because there's only a few movies left, this is from Go Down Death. And the
Oh,
character with the marker on his face looks a bit like the guy from Zardoz, just because of the marker. Which was last week's movie we discussed last week.
Is there a new release of Zardoz?
No, there's a new book out on it, so we interviewed
Oh.
a new book on it. Yeah.
I'm very curious.
Go ahead and go ahead and look that interview up. It was a good interview. So anyway, this is Go Down Death, which is by Aaron Schimberg, who Giles has met.
Yes.
What was the movie he did with the freaks?
Oh, Chained. Oh, shoot.
Chained for Life. Yeah.
Chained
No
for
way.
Life.
He did that? Wow. I didn't see
Yeah.
that. I really wanted to see that movie. He's doing a new movie too, right? With
I hope
Sebastian.
so. So this was his debut film that also played.
Okay, I remember talking about this now. Yeah.
It played Fantasia before I went my first time, probably the year before, called Go Down Death. If you've seen the trailer, which is probably all anybody's ever seen because it's never really been released until now. It's been over 10 years. And so it's black and white movie, really kind of evokes the feel of Guy Madden to me, although it's not as experimental with the camera work, but it's sort of a series of old folk tales from a fictional folk tale teller. And there are things like about a deformed man who has a crush on a tone-deaf cabaret singer and a child grave digger and characters like soldiers and prostitutes all in the old America. So I guess you guys have seen nothing at all except for maybe the trailer. Do you have any thoughts on this one at all to share?
I saw the trailer. I actually saw the trailer a few weeks ago because it's a Factory 25 release, right?
Mhm.
And I like what they do. I'm on their mailing list and I often watch their trailers. And this one looked, I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool, interesting. A lot of kid acting in it. I think there was some nudity in the trailer, like a naked man butt, which always piques my interest.
I believe that's artistic, is what that is.
Yeah, I love artistic nudity. And this image I think is pretty striking.
Yeah.
I would see this movie. I don't know if I'd buy the Blu-ray, but that's because I lost my Blu-ray remote and I can't get all the features. I tried to get the features of She's Allergic to Cat, but my Blu-ray remote is gone. So anyway, we'll get to that later.
You can't watch your own movie. That's bad. Yeah, this one, I think the spirit of it reminds me, it's obviously very different stylistically, but it's spirit of it kind of reminds me of She's Allergic to Cats. It's a debut film, low budget. It's weird, but kind of genre, and it played Fantasia about the same time as Cats did. So there are a lot of connections there.
We give it 2 thumbs up.
And we interviewed both of the directors. So okay, let's move on. This one's a double feature DVD. Our Blu-ray, we just have a still from one of them, which Giles will now describe for those who are listening only.
All right, we've got a gentleman with a gelled coif, sort of a car salesman coif, I'll call it. And he's looking askance off to his left and down with his squinty, suspicious-looking eyes. He's stuffing a big old sprinkled donut in his face from the shoulders up. I'm guessing he's wearing a suit, collared shirt, probably a necktie, maybe undone. And other than the prominence of the donut, the other thing worth mentioning here is affixed to his forehead is a playing card, the 9 of spades.
Okay. So that one was from a movie called Kitty Killers, and the other movie on the set is Living a Zombie Dream. These are two shot on video features from 1996, and I think the other one was later one is 2001. It's being released by Saturn's Core, who specialize in shot on video movies. Living a Zombie Dream is pretty much from the plot description about what the movie says. It's about a guy discovers his brother having an affair with his girlfriend. His brother gets killed by a psychopath. He kills the psychopath. Then they both come back from the dead as zombies and things get dreamlike. And it's very low budget. A lot of gore, and they say there's things like bleeding handguns in it. Kitty Killers came years later, and it's more of a black comedy about hitmen. And again, I think it gets pretty weird, but it's very violent from what I could tell from the trailer. The trailer, which we will link, has both movies in it and, like I say, shot on video, much lower budget than She's Allergic to Cats. It's basically home movies that are, and these can be very interesting. But what did you guys think if you saw the trailers?
Did you watch the trailer?
I didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
I watched the trailers. I think they look pretty fun, like fun movies. Interesting. This guy right here, he kind of looks like Judge Reinhold a little, but I didn't get that from the trailer. He looked like a regular guy in the trailer. But it kind of reminded me of like Damon Packard movies, kind of. This is like the vibe that I was kind of getting, but I don't know. I'd watch them if they were on. Maybe I'll give it 1 thumb up.
Yeah, I'm more intrigued by the first one than the second one. Even if I imagine the first one is probably rougher, but there are a whole lot of cool looking shots, and even either through not quite knowing what to do or on purpose, a lot of cool lighting for that kind of thing. And yeah, the Zombie Dream does have me curious. Kitty Killer sounded fine. As to whether or not it could deliver on the dark comedy that it seemed to be going for would be the major test.
Probably the acting is going to let it down when you get to try to do comedy on a low budget with actors who aren't comedians. It can get tough. And but actually thinking about this, I wanted to ask you guys, the mics, because you make and have made low budget movies, do you like watching other directors' low budget movies? And when you do you like say, is there any like ideas I can steal for this and use?
I mean, these ultra low budget movies I haven't watched for a while. I think I appreciated them more when I was like in that scrappier, like guerrilla filmmaking phase of my life, when you really were just kind of just like trying to make as much as you could for as little as possible. And nowadays, I'm focusing more on the writing side. So I'm really sort of focusing more on things that are less style oriented and more just like good scripts are the things. And it's interesting how when you just like watch movies that really resonated with you a long time ago, now you're looking at completely different aspects of them and style and sort of the just aesthetic of things is important to me, but not, I wouldn't just watch a movie for that as much as I would back in my youth.
Um, I saw a movie that was cheaply made. Uh, it wasn't shot on video, but it was. It's been doing the rounds in the film fest. I saw it at a fantastic fest, and actually the guy it's Nate Wilson's All the Golden.
Hmm.
You remember Nate?
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah.
His short screen before She's Allergic to Cats at Fantasia. And so he made his first feature, and I think he did. It's like it's really weird. It's definitely a feat of editing as well. It's got some really cool editorial stylistic ideas that I've seen it twice actually, and I kind of enjoy. It's like once you hear him talk about it too, it makes you like the movie even more. Seeing because the behind the scenes process of it is very fascinating. But anyway, I would recommend that movie, All the Golden, two thumbs up. This movie, I think, if that was Judge Reinhold in it, that would be really cool, actually. Judge Reinhold in like a VHS kind of, but I don't know.
Okay. So I guess not, you're not really watching the other movies trying to get ideas of how to do things. You just do it on your own.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another low budget movie. Oh, I saw a movie the other day that I did not like, but it wasn't really low budget either. Cuckoo,
Cuckoo. Oh, you'll get
did not
blowback
like.
from Giles on that.
Oh, well, I mean, taste is taste. I will politely disagree. I quite enjoyed Cuckoo.
I'm in the minority there. I know it. I don't know. But we could talk about a movie I did love. I saw Strange Darling. Did you guys see that?
I saw it last night, actually. Yeah.
You saw that? Wait, are you in LA?
No,
Oh,
it's playing nationwide.
oh, I liked it a lot. I saw it on 35 millimeter film as well at the Vista Theater. And I I hope I would get that on Blu-ray, maybe.
Once
That
you find your controller.
I think I don't think I'm gonna find the control. I think I just have to get a new Blu-ray player. But they're pretty cheap now, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so Strange Darling is a thriller that is probably gets its impact from the fact that it's non-linear, so it's told out of order, which lets them reveal kind of Pulp Fiction style, lets them reveal a surprise when you see what happened in the beginning later, and it changes your perception of everything. So it's really a example of it's a very stylish movie, but it's an example of using a script as your primary means of
I thought it was the best non-linear storytelling in a long time because you see some bad ones sometimes, and I thought that was cool, and it's shot beautifully too on 35. Giovanni Ribisi, who's in
He's famous.
he's in yeah, a lot of movies.
All right. Well, I don't know if we have. Why don't we go ahead and take our break now? We have just two movies to discuss, and then one of them will go real fast, and then we can talk about the She's Allergic to Cats release, because we are running a little low on time on this session. So we're going to pause, but for you watching or listening, you won't notice any difference. We will be back instantaneously. And so we go. We are back, and our guests have snacks. And we had to cut out some talk about Maine because Giles is in Maine, and there's some sort of Maine connection. But let's instead continue talking about these few movies we have left before we get into She's Allergic to Cats. This
Whoa.
one,
Yes.
Giles, describe our still here.
Oh, with pleasure. We've got a sort of, it's black and white, but with a kind of gray scaly thing that I'm going to say hovers somewhere between Marrakech and Madden.
Yeah.
There's an ambiguously shaped section of room going off into a back corridor where if you hang a slight right, there's a doorway with a very bright light emitting from it, at least the best I can guess from here. A figure shadow is cast delightfully on some wood paneling, possibly a wooden door off to the left. Off to the right is an ambiguous array of, I don't know, buttons or fuses, perhaps. And the figure dominant in this image is a woman with shoulder-length hair, a jaunty kind of headband thing. It looks like she's wearing a large blanket, perhaps a very large poncho. I'm going to say with what's that little stringy style thing that you find. Yeah, sort of tassely southwestern fringe. That's it.
Yeah.
Around the edges of that, and in her right hand she is holding, I don't know, maybe a very large marker, a large crayon, some sort of ambiguous cylinder that is somewhat conical toward the top. And all told, it's rather it's rather striking, I'd say, with a lot of gray gradations going on in the image here and some dark shadow over certain sections.
I thought,
I'm guessing.
I'm sorry. I thought her right hand was a candle, but I could be wrong.
Is that a candle? Okay.
It looks like there's a flame glowing that's been, I could be wrong. But her left hand, you didn't mention.
Oh, I did not. I guess.
We're thinking.
See if making. What is she hold? Okay, she's holding. Oh, is that a dead rodent of some sort by the tail?
Oh,
okay.
yes, it's a dead mouse. A white mouse.
I'm on my smaller screen device here, so.
All right. So yeah, it's a pretty striking image, and this would be from Lost Prophet. And the trailer for Lost Prophet didn't give me much of a sense of the movie. Again, I think it's a movie without a lot of plot, an experimental movie. So I'm going to read the product description for this. Awakening a captive to his dreams, James Burton struggles to survive in the wilderness of his mind. A distant mansion draws the dream vagabond down the dark terrain of a new age witch, punks, and a psychotic killer. Playing with self-destruction and death, the lost prophet faces his subconscious enemy with passive childlike fascination. So this is another shot on video movie. This one a little more maybe artistically intended than the last couple we discussed. And it's being released by a company who I don't know how you pronounce the name. It is
VHS Hitfest.
VHS Hitfest or VH Shitfest.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a clue. And the other clue I have for this, it's an hour and 2 minutes, which often has its own connotations.
They didn't have a lot of money for film. Yeah. So.
Well, this is on video. I mean, you can get
That's
back
true.
in the $5, you get 6 hours if you want. But yeah, so at least it probably doesn't overstay its welcome.
The image looks pretty good for something shot on video. They got a lot of...
It looks like the trailer kind of looked like, you were right. Like it looked kind of like, it reminded me of Begotten.
Yep. Oh, I remember that.
Which is still, I rented that movie from Blockbuster when I was young, just because I was like, wow, the like summary of it is like a woman like faces a Jesus-like thing in the woods thing. And
wow, you rented that from Blockbuster. I bet virtually no one else can say that.
Yeah. It's like the only good thing I ever rented from Blockbuster.
I guess Los Angeles Hollywood blockbusters were different than the blockbusters we had because Begotten would never be found on the shelves of a blockbuster where I lived. So,
This
I
was
like
East
what.
Coast. This was New York Blockbuster,
oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
which I don't know.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
wind up there. What
Did
is he
anybody
doing too? Elias Merhaig or what? How do you say it?
marriage? I think.
What is he doing?
Uh, he,
Like I
we're off
went,
topic.
Like humiliated in front of him?
I was working as a PA, like a gopher, and he was in it was like a production house that rep him for commercial directing.
Oh.
And my director, like the woman who ran it was a little bit vicious, kind of like Devil Wears Prada, and she threw a bunch of papers at me in front of him and said they had a fourth grade education. He just sat there, and I was like, oh man, a low point in front of that guy.
Shadow of a Vampire.
Yeah.
Wait, what movie did you work on there, Mike?
I was at a production house that repped him for commercial work.
Okay.
So I was just sort of a fixture there as like a gopher, a PA. And, I came in with something that I'd worked on that wasn't up to the standards.
What did he direct commercials?
He did.
Oh.
Yeah, for a little bit. I mean, I don't know if they just like pitched him out for commercials or something, but this was like right around, I think it was like right after Shadow of the Vampire.
He was hot stuff then.
He did some other Suspect Zero movie or something.
Yeah.
yeah, I reviewed that, and you could see vague traces of him in it, directorial, style wise, but it definitely was very much a product of whoever was the producer. I'm going to say that because it's like, oh, okay, so it's more like I think he happened to direct that.
A hired job kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to say my Elias marriage story is that it was the early days of Facebook, and I just started the blog, and I was able to contact him on Facebook and get him to make some quotes about Begotten. And this was after he'd done Shadow of a Vampire and kind of slowed down. So I was really thrilled to be able to email with him back and forth a little bit. It was before YouTube, so we didn't do an interview or anything. But then he deleted his Facebook page. So I don't have any idea what's happened to him since. He did a short film that's kind of a sequel to Begotten called Den of Celestial Birds that I think you can find on YouTube. And then I haven't heard anything about him since. So
yeah, I'll go to Blockbuster and see if they have it for rental.
Look in the marriage section there. Yeah.
Oh no. No, friends
did anybody have any thoughts about Lost Prophet? Because as I said, the trailer didn't give me much sense of it.
Looks like a time capsule kind of thing, get a sense of the 90s indie art house vibe.
Yeah.
It is a nice looking still.
Yeah. And Lost Prophet. It's a cool name. Reminds me of Estimated Prophet, the Grateful Dead song.
Oh.
I just saw Grateful Dead at the Sphere. Have you guys been to the Sphere yet?
No, I haven't been in Vegas.
Yeah, it's the future of entertainment. It's insane. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I haven't been.
I've certainly seen pictures it's up to.
I want to go back. They're playing the Wizard of Oz there. They're gonna do a Wizard of Oz like immersive. I don't know what that's gonna be like. That's gonna be nuts. That's gonna be how we watch movies in the future, the Sphere. I was also on psychedelics, so that's also
I haven't been back to Las Vegas since I moved away in 2006 or 2007. So
you lived in Vegas?
I lived there. Yeah, I was there for about 10 years, probably. I graduated from UNLV Law School, even.
Wow. Where are you in Montreal now?
No, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky.
That's cool.
All right. We're going to go through this one really quick. I don't know if anybody's a fan of this. I am. And my old colleague, the oldest co-writer on 366 Weird Movies, was a huge promoter of Pee-wee's Playhouse. The late Alfred Aker wrote about Pee-wee's Playhouse. And this very release, in a sense, because this is simply a re-release of a set that came out uh, maybe 10 years ago, essentially no different except for the packaging. And it's Pee-wee's Playhouse. You guys might be of the age where you saw this when you were growing up. It was a
Oh
little
yeah.
Oh
too
yeah.
old for me, but
For
No,
sure.
it was this was amazing. This was something I or every Saturday. It was an amazing show. And it sticks with me too. Of all the shows that I watched as a kid, I think I remember this one the most. I just thought the style, the production
Yeah.
design was just uncanny on this show. And they had claymation, different formats, the set design. It was,
Lawrence Fishburne, right?
yeah, he was the
Mailman.
Well, that was back when he was.
What?
That was back when he was Larry Fishburne. Was how he used to be
Larry.
credited early in his career. He was Larry Fishburne up through at least King of New York, and then he got serious by the time The Matrix came up. Somewhere
So,
around then, he was
Apocalypse
Yeah,
Now,
Apocalypse Now.
and then he was Cowboy Curtis, and then he went on to like
Larry Fishburne.
deep cover. I guess.
He was supposed to be Jules in Pulp Fiction.
Oh wow, yeah,
Turned it down.
wow,
Went to Samuel L. instead.
yeah,
And now
yeah, wow.
look at what happened.
And Phil Hartman was he? He was.
Oh yeah. He was
Captain Carl.
is he the captain or was he a cowboy?
No, that was Cowboy Curtis was Lawrence Fishburne.
Maybe he's a mailman.
He was Captain Carl. He was a sea captain.
Sea captain. Who was the mailman?
I don't know who the mailman was.
Was there a mailman? There had to have been a
yeah, there
mailman.
was I think the grandfather from the Cosby Show was on it. He may have been the mailman. But,
He was the king of cartoons.
yeah, they had two. Okay, boy, we are going deep in the. I've only seen it on Netflix reruns, and I think
Oh
it's
my God, I just
2 thumbs up.
yeah, this was so amazing.
I love Paul Rubens too. He's just the best. He seems like such a good actor.
And there was like a stage show of this
Yeah.
for adults.
Groundling.
Yeah, I think when it was like I think they even had like a Showtime or HBO special of that was really cool too. It's like just to see it contained and more like just the humor was just a little bit more adult.
And he was supposed to have been like the nicest guy, and he would call everybody on their birthday, which I'm a big birthday fan. So, not that he ever called me, but I think that I like to call people on their birthday. I think I can relate to him. I love Pee-wee's big Playhouse.
and very, very weird for a kid show, as you can see if you're able to see it on YouTube. His Playhouse, you never saw it. You only saw the interior most of the time, but exterior, it looks like a Caligari set, only it's got like pop art colors to it. So
yeah, sort of bubblegum Caligari.
yeah.
Yeah, it was all like kind of like 1950s,
Yeah.
by way of the 80s, and like it was just such an
Very unique show with very unique production design. And so if you ever get your Blu-ray remote back, this might be something to get and watch and treasure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get a new Blu-ray player.
But let's move on to our final movie.
Oh,
Maybe, I don't know if we could get Mike to like get in close to the camera there, because it looks like you
Recreate
haven't
that
aged.
expression.
It was 10 years ago. You look like you haven't aged a day.
wow, that's a
Right.
huge compliment. I definitely have.
Giles, describe the video or the still for people who can't see.
Certainly, this is a very artistic shot here. Lots of play of shadow and shape. There's a gentleman who is at least naked from the just above the nipples up, sideburn fellow with sort of let's see, short hair for a 70s style haircut, I guess I'll say there. And he is in a look of meditation. Why not? His eyes are closed and he's in deep thought. And surrounding most of his head and draped slightly over his shoulders, down artfully across his chest a little bit. And there's one that I like very much on the back that's almost like it's patting him there, is an array of bananas.
There you go.
Kind of caressing this figure in this artistic shadow still.
All right. And that is a still from?
She's allergic to cats.
Open question. Yes. Anyway. So that's the movie directed by Michael and starring Mike. And
Mhm.
it is now on Blu-ray. When I first went to Fantasia and interviewed you guys, I said, I hope you guys get this on DVD. And by the time it came out on home video, DVD was passé and we'd gone straight to Blu-ray. So amazingly, it is out. It's been what, 8 years, right? And the release is just,
Yeah.
it's huge. It's amazing. It's from Yellow Veil. Um,
Ah,
do you guys, did you have a lot of input on this, or was it just a surprise to you that did you work with Yellow Veil? How did this come about?
Yeah, Yellow Valor, they're great guys. So they helped us with the A Puff Before Dying, a short that we directed together, which was it's a marionette giallo movie about the dangers of smoking marijuana and driving under the influence of marijuana. And they put that out for
Yeah.
us and went to festivals and such. And I've known we met the Yellow Veil guys at Fantasia when She's Allergic to Cats came out. And then I reconnected with them at Fantastic Fest last year, and they were like, "Hey, good to see you first, but what's going on with Shoes to Cats? We'd love to do a Blu-ray." And I was like, "Wow, that's awesome, yes." And then that's when it happened. And then so we worked a lot with them to develop everything that's on the Blu-ray. It's a loaded disc, right?
Yeah, they let us put like basically most of our filmography up there, and you kind of get a sense of other things that feel like we put things in there that kind of felt like they were in the same lo-fi world, and just basically, you kind of builds out the sort of video art landscape.
Yeah. And hold on a second. My toilet's running. I gotta.
All right. Well, Michael's gone. Mike, for people who haven't seen the movie, how would you describe it?
I think it's sort of a low fidelity fever dream, and it sort of follows someone that's an aspiring artist, and it just is closed out from all opportunity, and just you're sort of given this window into a world that isn't really explored, where it's just sort of the struggling sort of creatives that live out in Los Angeles, and sort of like it's a little ode to people that can't quite break through.
It's a rom-com.
It's also that.
Like a lo-fi rom-com fever dream. That is available on Blu-ray now.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a good
I
description?
I will add that it's about a dog groomer and has a lot of squeezing of anal glands in it for
Yeah.
people fans of that. And it has
Everyone.
Lula Borg, who was had a big moment as a comedian immediately after that, and also has
Probably.
Tony Kinski, who hasn't been in a lot of things, but is, of course, Natasha Kinski's daughter and Klaus Kinski's granddaughter in it. So
Yes.
a
Yeah.
lot of, and your landlord, I believe, was in it. Honey
Honey.
Davis.
Yeah, he's still my landlord. Yeah, he's still kicking around here somewhere. He actually lives in Vegas, the real Honey Davis, by the Stratosphere.
Mm.
But yeah,
that area of town, or it used to, at least it used to be.
Naked City.
Right?
Right?
So let me go through a little of the bonus features. There's an interview from TIFF Midnight Madness. I didn't realize you guys played at TIFF Midnight Madness, but that must have been neat.
We didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
It's
That's
it's
the interview.
With the programmer of TIFF Midnight Madness, Peter Kaplowski, who's an early champion of this movie, but he couldn't get it into TIFF.
I bet he regrets that, but he got an interview at least.
He said he regrets it on the interview.
Yeah.
Then there's an interview with Michael and Sonia Kinski from Oldenburg Film Festival.
I was in Germany. Yeah, that was fun. It was a good
Then,
interview.
then and Sonia didn't do, she wasn't at Fantasia, so did she
No.
not do a lot of stuff in America? She did it she was in Europe, I guess, at the time, or?
I don't know why she didn't come to Fantasia. I don't remember why, but if Oldenburg like was because because of the German heritage and stuff, they were like, definitely we want her. So they like really rolled out the red carpet for her. And that was fun.
Okay. Then there's commentary from both of our guests.
Oh yeah.
Commentary track.
Yeah. And I think you smoked some weed during the commentary. I got a little drunk. So there's some juicy tidbits in there.
Yeah. Hopefully it's coherent.
You never listen to it back.
Well, you don't have a Blu-ray remote, so how would you? Let's see. We got the original Kickstarter voter video, and it says 20 festival promo videos.
Oh yeah.
20 of them?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
I just gave them a bunch. I didn't count them. I think the Yellow Veil people.
They're only like a minute each, right?
No, like 30 seconds.
30
They're
seconds.
like little, like in the vein of the character. The character makes video art, him, and they're in the vein of that style.
Yeah, I should also mention the main character wants to make a adaptation of Carrie starring cats as his big dream for a project. And there's a lot of psychedelic montages in it or at least one big one at the end. Let's see what else. 4 music videos from Michael Reich, and then 5 short films, including A Puff Before Dying, which is the one you were talking about. And actually, you had just completed it, or you were working on it, completing it during our last interview, because I remember you telling me about marionette feature that was anti-marijuana.
Yeah, I think we saved a lot of lives on that one. But yeah, it's out there. That played a bunch of festivals and stuff. Did you ever see it in the theater?
Oh no, I've never saw it. It played. It was
COVID.
right during COVID, so I really couldn't. But yeah, it did make the rounds.
I saw it in the theater at Palm
There's
Springs.
also something here I'm curious about based on the name. Well, there are a couple things. VHS tape reviews Mark Wahlberg movies.
Yes.
What is that?
That was something that we made a couple of years ago or a while ago.
Yeah, it's just sort of tiny experimental thing where we puppeteered a VHS tape and made this psychedelic sort of Tim and Eric style thing.
We wanted to do a review show like you guys are doing, but with a VHS tape and a DVD puppet, and they could only review Mark Wahlberg movies.
I love
This was the prototype.
and he built out a whole blockbuster, like a functioning blockbuster in a 3D program.
Yeah.
also something I'm not sure what this is. 7 normal community theater film spoof videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are those?
That was like our passion project where we take high budget movies and give them extremely low budgets to recreate like a black box theater style. And then shoot them all with a bunch of cameras at the same time and run it through an old mix board. So you get this sort of cable access vibe if you want to see like what Die Hard looks like on a, $40 budget. You just kind of run through the highlights in, about 3 minutes. And it's just sort of like if, some really terrible actors were putting them on.
Yeah, we star in them. We had a little studio space on Normal Avenue, so we named our theater troupe that was just us two, basically, Normal Community Theater. And I'd say the Die Hard was good, but we did one for Gravity to celebrate that getting nominated for Oscars, and I think that it was better than
Yeah, we had so to achieve like weightlessness, we're in astronaut suits with about 4 or 5 people in like full out like black body suits holding us up against a black backdrop. And so we were floating around, but
Yeah.
we're just like
it's the
Wait.
effects rival the Alfonso Cuarón effects. It's they would, and then I played Sandra Bullock and he played, and there was space debris.
yeah. So that we would put those on a lot, and
Yeah.
we did about I guess we did about 7 of them.
Yeah, and we were gonna do Captain America Winter Soldier, and we got all the, but we got a Captain America suit and, and an arm, and it was and we were just gonna fight each other. I was gonna be Bucky, and but we never did that.
No, so that's
Yeah.
not on the Blu-ray.
But that's not on it. But then we did do so he got married a couple years ago. And
Congratulations.
his what?
Congratulations.
It was a while ago.
Related congratulations.
And so we, for his bachelor party, we did we redid Bachelor Party.
Yeah, you said he's my best man, so he said, "Do you want to have a big party, or do you want to act out the movie Bachelor Party for your bachelor party?" So he rented out this theater, and we stayed there all night, acting out Tom Hanks's bachelor party.
He plays Tom Hanks, and I play, I don't know,
It's an ensemble.
Yeah, it's an ensemble. And then all the other people at the bachelor party, they play random people, characters, but they were, we were taking the bachelor party very seriously, and they were, I think, on they were drunk, and they were
Were they partying during the bachelor party?
yeah, we were like, this is serious, man. And there was a donkey cost, because there's donkey factors heavily in the bachelor party. So we got a donkey costume from China, and they designed
It was defective.
yeah, they put the tail in the wrong place. So honestly, we spent like an hour trying to figure out how this donkey costume. That's not on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, we should warn people that's not on the Blu-ray because people are going to want to see that. But
No, the bachelor party is on the Blu-ray.
Bachelor party is, but
But
we
problem
also
solving isn't.
yeah, but also we sent a letter to the Chinese company that sold us the donkey, and we were like, you made like a diagram. You're like, the tail is in the wrong place. And they're like, no, this is not.
this is how Chinese puppies are.
It's like a $400 donkey costume. You expect the tail to be in the right place.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a hard-working bachelor party.
But that's on the DVD, the Blu-ray.
Okay, well, and also, so that's about it on all the video content. There's also, I mean, this is like a Criterion level release because it's got a booklet, an essay, and
Yeah,
a poster, and
Cards like every Criterion movie.
The essay made me cry.
Yeah, Andrew Tyler is just an amazing writer. Just like really saw things in there that were, really touching for, to read back.
And he wrote like the original, I think in Birth, Death Movies, he wrote the article that came out right after the release of it in 2016, and it was like the first like really positive. Well, I mean there were other positive art, but it was anyway, we got him to write the essay.
all right. So that's She's Allergic to Cats finally on Blu-ray after all these years. I think you got some memorabilia to show, or
I don't have the Blu-ray. I had 2 copies and I gave them away yesterday. Sorry about that. But I do have stickers.
okay. Oh, cool.
Which they don't come with the Blu-ray, but if you email me, I send you some stickers to everybody.
Everybody out there.
Post
Okay.
off out on the arm with that.
Giles, do you have any questions?
No, I can't. The only thing I was qualified to do for this was describe that film still, since I haven't yet seen it, but this exciting discussion has convinced me that I'll go out and do that. And I do also see there's a booklet with storyboards and trading cards, and so that's those are tempting things for me. So I'm looking forward to She's Allergic to Cats, especially now having met the two main movers and shakers behind it.
Okay.
It's better than Kinds of Kindness.
Well, it is on our apocryphally weird list. It did not make the main list because of the time it came out.
Okay.
If it had come out, or if that Blu-ray had come out earlier, it probably would have made the list. So, but you're on
it's on our list. It's just not. Yeah, it's on the list.
Cool.
So after we reached 366, we started putting movies that came out after we had finished on the list, and that's the list you guys are on.
Oh,
The
well,
supplement,
that's great.
Nice.
along with last year at Marienbad. So,
Yeah.
there is one final question Giles likes to ask.
Oh,
I don't believe we
yeah.
asked it before, so.
Well, I'll ask it because I didn't ask it before. Both of you, could you tell us what your hometown is, and can you recommend a restaurant there?
Oh, okay. I come from Farmington, Michigan, and I'll say Buddy's Pizza.
Oh, buddies. I come from Mount Vernon, New York, which is the home of Denzel Washington's from there. Michael Imperioli, that's Christopher from The Sopranos. He's from there, and Heavy D and Puff Daddy, but Puff Daddy we're not so proud of anymore. But at the pizza place around the block from me, pizza place I'm going, Joe's Pizzeria. There's a picture of Michael Imperioli, Christopher from The Sopranos, and it's signed. And the pizza's really good there, but it's also cool to know that it's Michael Imperioli's favorite pizza place too. So I'm gonna go with that.
A lot of pizza.
However, it recently got bought by Albanians, and
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but maybe the food's gonna taste different. That's Italian, more about Albanian, but I guess they're similar in location. So I mean,
They are broader Mediterranean.
yeah. So it probably was. Oh, Albanian's closer to Greek, so maybe
Huh?
Anyway, it's still my favorite. Some might say that Johnny's is a better pizzeria, which is a couple blocks down, but I disagree with them. I think that Fleetwood Joe's, it was on there's that guy who like eats pizzas and rates them. No?
I believe
I believe-
there's a guy that does that.
He eats pizza. He's got millions of followers. He's on Barstool Sports, I think. Forget what his name is, but anyway, he gave Joe's a really good review. He said that it was crispy and it was is a good price.
Yeah, so you say Mount Vernon, that's a couple hours south of where I normally am in Troy.
Right. Yeah. I used to play hockey when I was young, and there's some good teams in Troy, I remember.
Yeah, RPI, yes, yeah.
Well, we do have 4 minutes left, so I did neglect to ask, is there anything coming up that you want to promote in the last 4 minutes on the horizon, other than the Blu-ray?
Oh, Alien Romulus it's been out for a bit, but I'm gonna go see it. I want to see Blowout. That's an old movie, but that's playing at the New Beverly
Oh, wow.
next week. I got tickets. And then we actually, just before this interview, we bought tickets to see Pulp,
The band.
the band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Cocker's still going around doing his thing.
Yeah.
That's good.
I seen him naked once too, in a hot tub at Esalen. It was a night bathing thing. Everybody's naked. It's not like he was being weird, but anyway, I was on mushrooms. It was quite a.
Oh, you movie biz people and the stuff you get up to with the musicians, that's just
I have a 4-year-old. I don't do any of that.
He was a while ago. This was a while ago. But
fun projects to quick plug.
I recently just finished a documentary about my landlord. It's called Hollywood, Honey, and Me. And it'll be in festivals soon.
Cool.
The
It's
short or a full feature length?
It's a short.
Okay.
But it has. I want to take Honey to Japan because he says that he has a really big following there, which I don't believe. So
Big in Japan is kind of, yeah, that's a cliche. So, hey, Honey Davis is she's allergic to cats, and he's a pretty odd acting as an actor at least. So,
Honey,
yeah.
he's he's my muse.
Apparently, no, that's excellent.
If he's,
I hope you get to Japan with him.
He's been my landlord for 17 years. And he just raised the rent for the first time like 2 months ago.
well, on that note, which is a little depressing note, raised rent, but at least it was rent
So
control.
minimal. It's like I'm paying like $40 more.
Oh, okay, good.
You know,
Nice.
it's a positive ending, I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, excellent. A happy ending to the second half of the interview here.
All right. Well, there we go. And that was a lot of fun to have you guys back. This is actually the third time I've talked to you. First time Giles has talked to you, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again when your
The 4K release comes out.
Yeah, the Ultra HD release.
All right. Thanks, Michael Reich and Mike Pinkney, for being on the show again. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
See you later.
Bye. Nice meeting you, Giles. And